Anna Nowlin, and today we'll be talking about the neurodiversity movement subculture. Approximately 15 to 20% of people in the U.S. are estimated to be neurodivergent, according to Northwestern Medicine. This speech explores the subcultures of neurodiversity movement. This movement is all about accepting and including people with different kinds of brains, like those with autism, ADHD, and learning disabilities. Instead of seeing these differences as problems, the movement encourages us to view them as natural and valuable parts of human diversity. It's a push to change how society talks about and treats neurodivergent people, focusing on their strengths and unique needs rather than their stereotypes and limitations. I chose to research this subculture because I am currently studying special education at the University of Tennessee. This is a timely topic because there are lots of studies and questions being asked on if classrooms should be inclusive with neurodivergent students and general education students. It's important to know about the movement because many people know someone who is neurodivergent or are themselves. This affects education, work, and social norms. In this speech, we will go over layers within the culture of the movement, including inclusive education, identity-first language, and online advocacy. To understand the neurodiversity movement is reshaping the society, we can start by looking at one of its most impactful areas, inclusive education. Neurodivergent is a word used to describe people whose brains work differently from what is considered typical. For example, autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and other forms. Inclusive education culture is a big part of the neurodiversity movement culture. Inclusive education helps support the neurodiversity movement by making sure students who learn differently are included and supported in the classroom. Here is a visual of all of the different ways that teachers can affirm their students who are neurodivergent in their classroom. Some of them are provide curricula that will celebrate diversity, embrace differences, accommodations with sensory needs, collaborate with students on discipline, and enhance executive functioning. Instead of trying to change them to fit in the schools focus on giving them tools that they need to do well. It's all about creating a learning space where everyone feels accepted, understood, and able to succeed in their own way. The graduation rate between students with disabilities and their other peers remains significant. In the 2021 through 2022 school year, many states reported that students with disabilities graduated at rates 10 to 30% lower than general student populations, according to the Advocacy Institute organization. So here's a little diagram here of all of the states and their graduation rates. The inclusive classroom subculture promotes that all students will be in the same classroom on the same learning trajectory. When all students are in the same classroom, peers can learn from each other and hold each other accountable. Just as inclusive education culture challenges norms in schools, identity, first language reshapes how we talk about neurodivergent people. Identity-first language is another level of the neurodivergent movement subculture. In the neurodiversity movement, identity-first language is a way of speaking and writing that places the neurodivergent identity before the person, emphasizing that this condition is an integral part of who they are, not something separate or negative. For example, in the workplace, people who are neurodivergent like to have that as the first part of their identity in the job title. An excerpt from Why Critical Psychology and Neurodiversity Movement Need Each Other by Eleanor Thomas says, ensuring that autistic researchers are involved in the respected field of autism research is a step towards embracing neurodivergent epistemologies. Using identity-first language as autistic researcher honors the way many individuals see their neurodivergence as a core part of who they are and not something separate or shameful. Finally, beyond language and education, the neurodiversity movement also thrives in digital spaces. Online advocacy is a huge part of neurodivergent culture. This is a way that awareness can be spread about the topic and how the movement can perform mass education on what they're all about. Online advocacy can be social media posts about the topic, or it can be neurodivergent people with platforms that are used to spread awareness about the topic. For example, Haley Moss, she's an autistic lawyer who uses her platform to educate and advocate for autistic people in the workforce. Online advocacy is bringing the subject to life in a way that gets people to be open and learning and talking about a topic that has always been considered taboo for too long. Now, I'm going to show a video of someone who is a part of the neurodivergent community. Sorry, there's an ad. And he's going to share a little bit more about the reality of what being neurodivergent is like.
The concept of neurodiversity.
It starts here.
Neurodiversity isn't a label or a diagnosis or a feel-good term. It's the idea that neurological differences like dyslexia, like dyspraxia, like autism are natural and important variations in how humans think. It means that everyone's brain is unique, and that's okay. Despite finding a way that worked for me, I couldn't study biology in college.
And that was it. So, in this, Nathaniel Hawley shares a little bit more about the reality of being neurodivergent and the view of what he hopes society will start talking about in the future. As you can see, online advocacy plays a role in the growing subculture of the movement. The culture of neurodivergent movement is a call for inclusion. It's a growing subculture that takes a challenging mainstream ideas about traditional ways we think, how our brains should work, and how people should learn. They are able to build a sense of community through inclusive education, identity-first language, and community spaces that empower people to embrace their differences and advocate for change. Thank you. Wait, don't.